Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to the Face, the card making space, and another STAMPtember collaboration video. Throughout the month of September, Simon Says Stamp has the biggest stamp party of the year, STAMPtember. They've partnered with a ton of crafty brands to release limited edition, exclusive stamp and die, depending, sets that are one and done. When they are sold out, they are not restocked. However, all the brands that are being collaborated with have wonderful product lines. Today's, as always, being no exception because today is with the Greeting Farm. And I've had a soft spot for the Greeting Farm since I first discovered them. I don't even know how many years ago. Love them. And this set's adorable and it's Halloween themed. So, of course, I was like, yes. So I paired it with some die sets in my stash. Did some coloring with Olo markers, pulled in some splatter, all the things to create my little scene. As always, everything I use is listed and linked in the description box below the video. I also link to the collaboration page where you can see what's still available, because there's still every once in a while, and all the things. So I'll have links to everything below. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links, end up placing an order, I get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. It is what helps pay the bills and keep the channel running. And let's get into making this card. So this limited edition set from the Greeting Farm and Simon Says Stamp is called It's Spooky, and it's a 4x6 set, and there are 6 little costumed characters, and trust me, I had a hard time choosing only 3. Honestly, I need thoughts and prayers, everyone. It was really difficult. Again, like I always say, if I had more time in the day. But anyway, I went with 3 of them. And I stamped them onto some Neenah Desert Storm cardstock with Simon's Intense Black ink, which is an alcohol marker friendly ink. Once I got them stamped, I am going to use my Olo markers to color them in. You could use any alcohol marker brand. I will link at the end of this video to my playlist that I have of all the videos I've done so far using Olo markers. I have a swatching video that I did live when I first got them. And yeah, my Olos, they're half markers, and then you connect them. They come with connectors, all the things. It's all explained on their website. I'm using them as half markers for now. That will change down the road at some point, but for now I'm totally content using them like this, and it's what works for me. So I colored in all these little characters. For the most part, I only did like 2 color blends, with the exception of my little creepy clown in the center. With her, I did 3 colors for her hair and then for the reds. But for everything else, I kept it pretty simple. Also, these images, they're not small, but they're smaller. So I just didn't feel the need. And once the color's down, like look at them. Look how cute they are. I love it. So I just kind of worked my way from left to right and was kind of all over the place with my coloring because I was just getting right into it. For those that aren't familiar, the big thing with the Greeting Farm is these characters, and they have little ones like this size, but their original ones, and they still do, are significantly larger. And the big thing about like the Anya's and the Ian images is their hair. You know, because they've kind of got big heads with lots of hair, and it gives you so many options for coloring. That was the thing that, you know, I fell in love with all those years ago. Done many videos over the years using different Anyas that I have purchased, and they're just the cutest little things ever. So yeah, I still kept the hair fairly simple. I pulled in this 3rd shade just to give a little bit more definition, because again, I'm coloring on craft cardstock, so markers will look different versus coloring on white. That said, because I've had a few people commenting, because I've been doing this a fair bit this month, because, you know, doing a lot of content, making a lot of videos, doing a lot of coloring. If you have, you know, you own alcohol markers and you've never colored on Desert Storm cardstock, I highly recommend trying it out. It is much more forgiving than you would think. It's less intimidating than coloring on white, at least in my experience. I quite enjoy it, and it just gives everything a slightly different look. So I worked my way around, colored in all my little images, and then I pulled out just a white color pencil to add some details. One went over her skin, to make her a little more creepy, because she is supposed to be a creepy clown. She's the cutest creepy clown ever. All of them really are, but because that clown is generally quite hideous, and she makes it cute. So I use my little color pencil to add just some light highlights. I'll go back in at the end with my white gel pen, but it gave it that little extra something. And then I cut them all out. I took a panel of the same Desert Storm cardstock. This is an A2 panel. Did a quick, easy blend with Oxide inks to create a sky. So I used Faded Jeans, Chipped Sapphire, and Villainous Potion Oxide inks and blended that on there. And then I'm going to put this in my splat box and add some splatter, because it is a sky, so it needs a splatter, of course. So put it in the splat box, and I'm using my Spellbinders opaque white watercolor here. So pulled a bit of that out, stuck it to my palette, and then I'm going to water this down a bit, because this is very thick and you need to add, just kind of up to you how much water you want to add to it. I thinned mine out a fair bit with my little fan brush, and then heavily splattered this all over this background. So once I've got that splattered, I just need to let everything dry. And then I'd also die cut another piece of Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, and I used the Picket Studios Secret Garden A2 cover plate. So it's gonna, you're kind of getting an idea of the scene I'm creating here. So I die cut that first, and then I decided, because I used this the other day, this Against the Grain cover plate die, which doesn't cut, well, it cuts around the perimeter, but all that detail, it doesn't cut, it just presses in that wood grain detail. So I was like, oh, I want to use that with this too. So I just took that die cut that I had used the Secret Garden cover plate on, and then taped it into place with some very low tack tape, and then ran that through my die cut machine, and that just pressed in all that wood grain detail, which is really difficult to kind of show on camera. There you go. You can kind of see it. You'll see it more when I add some inking to it. So after I pressed that detail, I used regular distress inks for this. Does it really matter? Not really. Like, I love the look of oxides on Desert Storm cardstock. It just kind of depends. But for this, I didn't really want the oxides to, I guess there was a method to the madness. I didn't really want the oxides sitting on top, because I didn't want to, the chance of it covering any of the debossed details. And also it's just habit. So I used gathered twigs and a little bit of scorched timber and just blended that onto that panel. And then I die cut yet another piece of Desert Storm cardstock, this time using the Picket Studios Tall Grass wafer die. And I added Twisted Citron Oxide ink. With lighter shades of ink, you want to go with the oxides on top of darker cardstocks, Desert Storm, etc., etc. But with lighter cardstock, it just kind of depends on the look you're going for. I'm just trying, because I get asked that a lot, what the reasoning is, and sometimes it's kind of hard to explain the reasoning, because I'm just like grabbing things at random. So I use the Twisted Citron and then Rustic Wilderness on that grass die cut. And then there's this funny little spider stamp in this stamp set, and I've talked about this many times on my channel. I have pretty severe arachnophobia. However, when it comes to making Halloween cards, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I don't mind them. Like, on paper, stamping them, or little spider die cuts, even if they're not cutesy, like even creepy ones, I am totally fine with it. But in every other aspect of life, good luck with that. It is something I battle. Anyway, this spider in this set, he's the dorkiest little thing, and I love it. He's like lumpy. That's the only way I can describe him. He is a lumpy little spider, and I love him. So I stamped him onto that background, and then I will come back to him. But I stamped him with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and then I assembled my background as I showed, because I was getting, sidetracked by spiders. So I adhered everything, and that background, that Secret Garden, like tree cover plate there, this would have made a perfect shaker card. I could have backed it with acetate, popped it up with foam tape, you know, filled it. It would have been an amazing shaker card. I'm just mentioning it. Did I make a shaker? No. Again, did not have time. But as I was assembling everything, I was like, man, this would make a great shaker card. Anyway, I just assembled everything with glue. The sentiment is from that set that Have a Scary Halloween. That's part of the stamp set. And I just white heat embossed that on black cardstock. And then cut it out, popped it up with foam tape. And then on the inside of the card, I stamped the other sentiment from the set that just says it's spooky. And then I stamped my little lumpy spider, because he just is. He's funny. I love it. So I stamped him, and then I used like a Copic multi-liner to add a couple little strings to the ones on the inside, you know, so it's not like they're just floating. Ugh. On the front, they're you know, climbing amongst the trees. So I also added googly eyes to them. That was the big reveal. Like, I got my little stash of these tiny little googly eyes, and I just glued those onto each one, and perfection, chef's kiss. But I'm still not done. There's one more thing I'm going to add. So I glued those into place with just little dabs of craft tacky glue, and then I pulled out my white gel pen, and I added little smileys to all of these guys, and that just finished them off. And I even added them little smiles to the ones on the inside too when I was done, because I don't know, it just made me laugh. So then I went around and added more little, you know, highlights and whatnot to all of these characters, just to give them that little extra something, just sticking them where I thought they would look nice. There was definitely no source of light because it's technically a nighttime scene, so is what it is. And once I had that added, these cards are complete. So I've got my lumpy little spiders with their googly eyes and these adorable little characters and my little scene, and yeah, added the little smileys to the inside as well because, I don't know, they're cute. Love it. So, like I mentioned in the intro, I'll have links to all the things in the description box below the video for you to check out if you are interested. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Thumbs up, comment, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in supporting me over on Patreon, the link to that is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!